Hey guys, it's Yorkie here and welcome to the channel for our very first look at the brand new 2023 Porsche 992 GT3 R. So here we are then in the car showroom with the new Porsche, and there are some fairly substantial differences between this one and the previous gen Porsche. The front bonnet here is got this very deep intake here at the front. The fuel tank is still there, or at least the fuel nozzles refueling is done from the front of the car. As you can see, much bigger, more flared wheel arches compared to the previous generation car as well. It's a bit more reminiscent of the Porsche 911 RSR GTE car that they ran in WEC and at Le Mans. The front of the car dips down a fair bit further forwards, and I think it actually extends a little bit further out forwards as well compared to the previous car, making it a little bit more aggressive at the front. There's some updated aero in here around behind the front wheels, and then coming to the rear of the car, updated rear bumper, still the twin pipe exhaust out the back there at the center. We've of course got the updated brake lights and brake light bar along the back here, as well as some swan neck supports on the rear wing for some cleaner aerodynamics over that massive great big rear wing there. So taking a look at the liveries, obviously we've got this Porsche Motorsport livery here. There's actually quite a few for the Porsche. We've got a car collection Motorsport here in white carbon and a very nice dark red. CLRT, quite a nice branded and stylized livery here. Looks very cool. I'm a big fan of that one. We then got Dynamic GT Huber Racing as well. Number 54 car, and then we've got an endurance version of the number 54 car, and we've got the silver 56 entry as well for that team. MDK Motorsports here in a very nice red, dark grey and white with big heavy motor sponsoring there on the car. And then got RS1 in a very nice dark grey with green. Plutonic Racing, probably my favourite looking livery to be honest. Looks very good here in the blue with the fluorescent yellow. Very nice fan of that with some very nice details on it. Team Parker Racing in the white, orange and black that they tend to traditionally run. And then we've also got the Wright Motorsports livery here as well. A little bit more simplified. Let's very quickly go and take the Plutonic Racing car out for a spin. So here we are then in the cockpit of the car, just about to ready to go out, and once again, like we did with the Lamborghini, we're going to take a look at the aggressive preset just to go through some of the various different parameters that are here. As usual, same sort of expected stuff here on the tyres page. Electronics, again, it's got TC, ABS, the usual ECU maps that done in the very Porsche style, so the Fuel Map 8 is probably going to be your best and quickest one that you'll be running the majority of your racing on. TC2 as well. And then got our fuel settings that we can change here with all the usual fuel and strategy stuff. With the anti-roll bars, 6 clicks in, or 7 total options. Brake bias kind of in around 54% here at Nürburgring. Quite a high steering ratio there as well. Up to 173,500 newton meters on the front, and that drops all the way down to 100,500 newton meters on the front there as the minimum setting. 137 bunch of zeros, 237 bunch of zeros on the rear, so obviously it goes much stiffer on the rear, which you'd expect for a Porsche with the engine there being in the back. 6 clicks, up to 6 on the rear, usual preload sort of differential stuff. Up to 17 on the bump there at the front, 12 on the fast bump. And then I'm guessing it's going to be the same, indeed it is, for the rebound settings as the slow and fast damping. So fewer options than the Lamborghini. Ride height goes down to 53 on the front. Again, no splitter. And then the rear wing goes up to 12 clicks. 90 on the rear, and then 55 on the front. And because I was silly and didn't take note of where the default position was, 67, we're going to very quickly reload the default aggressive setup as well. As we did in the Lamborghini video, I'm going to fire up, drive around, let you enjoy the lovely sounds of the car, and then we'll get to talking about the handling.
Green light, go, go, go.
So hopefully you've been able to tell from that first half a lap episode that this Porsche 992 is very much a Porsche. A lot of oversteer and rotation on entry and the mid corner, and then the car kind of settles in once you get some throttle onto it, but there is still at times some oversteer there on exit as well, but it is mostly understeer, so it is very much all about throttle control. And being quick with the hands in order to try and balance the car and navigate it through the corners. Very much a sort of point and squirt, line up the exit and then hammer it and go to get the best out of this car. I'm not the biggest fan of Porsches and how they drive, but I have spent a bit of time with driving this one, kind of learning its quirks, and it does get quite enjoyable. The main thing that I have noticed with this car is the rear tyres do take an absolute beating with the car almost sliding constantly. As you see there, so much rotation on the entry to the corner, it just wants to tuck in straight towards the apex. You've got to be really careful with your steering inputs, the brake and also the throttle, to try and balance that and try and keep the car in check, at least with the default setups. Obviously, if you are someone who's quite proficient with setups and able to fiddle and change with things, you might be able to find that you can help tame the Porsche and kind of get it a little bit more compliant and driving in the style that you want. But otherwise it is very much about being measured with your inputs as best as you can. But yeah, those rear tyres take an absolute beating. Certainly going to be something to watch out for in longer races. Just making sure that you look after those tyres, manage the tyre temperatures and the tyre wear. And as you've heard, it's got the iconic SIP gear drivetrain line. There it was for a moment, just as we were coming into the braking zone. We'll do it again here on the start-finish straight. There it is. Sounds like the car's kicking into some sort of overdrive. Very cool sound. Really like the slip assist lights that are there on the dashboard, telling you whether you're locking up under braking or whether the rear tyres are struggling for traction as you plant the throttle. And it's got quite a few dashboard pages as well. As you can see, you've been driving with this default one here. This one's got a little bit more information on it, a slightly different layout. You can see, go back to the previous one. Yeah, so it changes that main dash there on the left hand side from fuel information to brake temperature information, as well as brake pressure on both the front and rear. There is still some fuel information there. Very much a qualifying sort of focused dashboard page there. Then we've got the oil temperature, water temperature and pressure stuff, and then back to the fuel things. I believe that the oil temp and pressure and that sort of thing is the default. And once again, I have also fiddled slightly with the cockpit position here in this car, slightly further back than default. So you guys get a better view, see what's going on. But those of you who like Porsches, have no doubt enjoy driving this car. No doubt it's going to be very competitive, but it's certainly the trickiest out of the three new cars to actually master. So if you are new to Assetto Corsa Competizione, or don't really consider yourself as a very skilled and experienced driver, I'd probably stay clear of the Porsche for a little bit until you become a little bit more comfortable with mid-engine cars and your driving skill improves, because I consider myself to be quite a quick and experienced driver here in ACC, and I struggle with this car. I'm definitely a lot better than I was, say, a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, it's quite a difficult tame to beast. Or, sorry, difficult beast to tame. Completely failed at English there. But either way, we'll complete this lap. With a little trip through the gravel as well. And you can see what I mean. You go completely off throttle, the rear end just wants to swap on you. So you have to keep some throttle there going through the Schumacher S's. And you can see this corner in particular, I've really been struggling upon entry. The rear end just wanting to swap round and trade places with the front. You can dedicate yourself to it, learn its quirks, and how to drive Porsches. You probably will end up being very, very quick and having quite a bit of success with this car. But yes, that's the Porsche 992 GT3 R from the 2023 GT World Challenge DLC. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Also, check out the other two videos of the other two cars and also the new Valencia circuit. But otherwise, please consider subscribing to the channel, and hopefully I shall see you in the next video. Until then, thanks very much for watching. Have fun, stay safe, and take care.